The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up wider. Listen, battle drums in the distance, moving with enough force like army tank pistons. Pray for the strength of Jah to fight resistance. Fight mode, shields up, moving with resilience.
With the strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong.
Hey everybody, welcome back after a beautiful summer vacation. It's the fall season 2025 going into 2026. So shout out to everybody who survived all the good stuff and all the crazy stuff that brings with September. Back to school, back to soccer, back to all that, back to life. So welcome back to Pinecase podcast today. My goodness. So Blasé Blasé, we got the presents a little bit ago, and when we played some music and kind of checked it out and stuff, we're like, holy crap, there is a whole beast of a band to invite here. And so today we have Dani Jackson come get it with us. Girl, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my goodness, the experiences, the skills, the talent. I'm like, oh, I have so many questions, and I'm just so excited to kind of pick the brain of the vocals. Like, please, before we we get into the deep stuff, can you take us back to where music became like at the forefront, or something that you were for sure gonna move forward with?
So it's funny. I actually started playing the piano when I was 4, and that's kind of when it started. But I was playing classically, and I hated it. Like, it was a forced thing. I could not stand it. I was always trying to make deals with my mom, and I was like, okay, when I get my grade 7, can I take voice lessons, or can I try guitar, or can I take jazz piano or something else? And she would always kind of be like, yeah, sure. When you get this grade, you can do that. And every time I get the grade, she's like, forget it. And so that's where I got my, the first taste and kind of the basics down. And that's when I kind of just started singing to myself. But I didn't, enjoy it really. I kind of just turned into my own thing when I started just going to karaoke. And it all just, but in terms of me being in bands, I just stumbled into it. It was completely by accident. I just knew that I really enjoyed singing, and I liked doing karaoke a lot. And that kind of just accidentally led me into being in bands. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
People underestimate karaoke. Like, down in the Caribbean, karaoke is where they pull the talent from. I don't know if you know it much down there, but they ring a bell and you got to start the song all over again and over again. And so when there's somebody really good, you end up listening to them for a half an hour, just restarting a song. And then in Canada, we have this for some reason, karaoke is a place where not super great people go to just for a little therapy on a Friday night, and then that's it. So to be recognized in karaoke is that's such a cool way to kind of start your career.
It was really flattering to have someone approach me. They were like, so I want someone to be in my band, and I think you're pretty good. And I was like, what? Me? So yeah, it was it was really cool. It was really fun.
That's really neat. So I guess you kind of hit the ground running then, from going from it not really being part of the plan to being dropped straight into it. What was that like?
It was, it felt, so the first band that I was in was we just did one show for Car Free Day in a record store in Vancouver. And so I remember I was so nervous because, being drunk and doing karaoke is one thing with your friends. But even though this was just a small record store, it felt really like serious and real and scary. But it also felt really natural in a way, because it's something that I'd always dreamed of doing. And when I was growing up, I did a lot of like musical theater and stuff. So I knew that I enjoyed being on stage, and, you know, singing in a way, but to be like the forefront of a band is a different type of pressure. And so while it was like exciting, but really, really, really scary, but also still felt really natural in its own way. If
It's
that makes sense.
amazing. Yeah, no, it totally does. Because I mean, not to say that instruments aren't equally as important as vocals, because they absolutely are. But you're not playing bass where you can kind of like tuck away to the background. Like you're like,
Yeah.
here, we're gonna need you to fill this space for us that is like 50% of what people are receiving. Like the music is important, but so is like the stage presence and the, because that's it's like meeting somebody for the first time, right? You like give them the quick scan and then you decide whether you're like gonna spend time with them or not. It's the same thing
Yeah.
with a band. We're like, okay, but what are they all about? And so, yeah, that would be really intimidating, I think. Well, good for you for just going for it. I think that's really awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really
it's a
awesome.
lot of pressure, but it's I have to say Blasé Blasé, like being in this band has been really great because they really like kind of forced me to be more of a front, like the like speaker fronting person. The band I was in before this was like there's like 21 people in it, any day of the week. It's like 17 to 21 people, and so there were
It's
multiple
amazing.
vocalists and a bunch of rappers, and so even though I was like one of the lead singers, I still kind of like took a bit of a step back because you can't have 5 people all being the front person in a band, so I still managed to be like kind of shy. But when I joined Blasé, Jesus in particular was like, yeah, no, so you're gonna talk, like
Ah!
you're gonna do this, and I was like, okay, and he just shoved me into it, and so over time it's become like my thing now, and I'm like, okay, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Just kicked me right up there, and it's gotten
So
a lot
this
easier.
is me being like a bit sexist and slightly racist. Like
Hmm.
Blasé Blasé, like it's already amazing, but the imagery when I clicked over to YouTube, I was like, oh, oh my god, like who is this? Like I need to know what's happening here. And so I don't care. People can judge me all they want, but it's amazing. Like when you have somebody who's like confident, and to know that maybe you had to work through it a little bit is even funnier because that's not what we get to see, right? Like as soon as look, I was just like, oh my goodness, like you just encompass what it is to be like a lead singer. So here I was thinking that you've been at this like your entire life, and this is like, you were building up for this to be the career, to know that you started off in piano, although we all kind of start off in piano, and then went to karaoke, and then that's really fascinating to me. So did you carry like some of that? I mean, it must have trickled a little bit into your personal life as well then, right? From being maybe a little bit reserved to being like a front person in
Sort
Blasé Blasé,
of.
like
Yeah, I mean, I'm a weirdo, man. Like I'm both like really shy, but also like obnoxiously outgoing. And it depends on the environment and who I'm with, really. Like my friends, if like would never agree with me saying that I'm shy. Like they
right.
would never um accept that from me. But there are people that for sure like and when I'm in the office, for instance, like
Yeah.
I'm a quiet person. I have like loud hair, but aside from that, like they know me as like a quiet person and don't know really anything about me. So like it's a bit of both, when I'm with my friends or performers, then it's all like yes, like all flair. But other places I'm just like, no, I'm just a quiet demure, I'm just gonna keep it inside and get on to get along.
I find, what's funny is I'm really similar to that. And I find like, not that not everybody deserves me, but there's a part of me that's like, my friends deserve that energy. It's a lot of energy to be like that all the time. And so maybe just like holding in a little bit, because it's like, I don't need to spend all my energy all the time doing that. Like, I'm going to keep this for like the ones that I love, or keep this for the ones that I care about.
And that's actually like true when you say that, like, not everyone deserves you. I feel like I have a lot. I love really hard, and I'm like a ride or die, and I don't want to waste it, because it does take a lot out of you because I really believe that, like, you need to like bring as much joy and spread it as much as you can. Otherwise, like, what is the point of your existence? So that is something that I need to be careful with. I can't just like go into the office, and because there are people that suck. There are people that see that and are just like, oh, like, trash bitch, whatever, like, jealous or just like don't like other people being happy, and working in an office setting, I see these people all over the place. And so I've learned that I just kind of need to make sure that I'm putting it out there where it's going to be received well, and for the people that need it,
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
Yeah, you do, because people are parasites, and it's tough because obviously, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Joy is something that we're lacking in today's society, and a sense of community. I think we are all responsible for making sure that we hold our part in that, and that our the youth see that, and that the seniors feel that in a whole way. But there has been many times where I'm like, oh, I'm going to go into this and spread the love and all this stuff, and then I go home and I crash out for like 3 days, and then my kids and my own family totally are like, what the hell, like, we get this shit part of you, I guess, because you've been out there slanging love all over the place. I'm like, yeah, sorry about that, so it's tough for sure to balance that.
It is, like, when I get off stage after a show, I never go out front afterwards. Like, I generally will hide backstage until like the end of the night, like for at least an hour, because it's so much energy to put out, and then kind of like facing people afterwards. And even though it's always kind, and it's always people that are like giving you accolades and are telling you did a great job, that is also so exhausting. And after like puking so much like on everybody, just like to then absorb their joy is exhausting in a way. So I do that, and then I hide, and I have to.
It's so funny because I hear two things. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's my duty to go out there and sign every CD and take every photo and comment on everything. And I'm like, right, but isn't the product the thing? Like, like,
that's how I feel. Like that's the, like what I'm there to do is to give them the good show. And so I put all of it into that, and then I'm exhausted, and I don't have the mental ability to like engage in a good conversation. And I don't want to do small talk. I'd rather sit in a room full of people that I know and be silent than engage in small talk. And if I don't feel like I can give a good combo, then it's just going to be small talk. And I don't want to waste my time or your time with that kind of shit, So I just feel like I just got to chill. And then if I get it back, I have a couple shots of tequila or whatever, and then I'm like riding up again, then I'm going to come out. But until I feel like I can, because I guess it's still kind of like another part of the performance in a way. I don't want to be like super fun on stage and then be this like shell of a, husky, dry, lame ass when I meet people afterwards, so.
Listen, I actually am like this. I'm here. Oh my God. I literally am like this with my kids, and I feel like a terrible person sometimes, but I'm like, every time I walk past you, I do not have to say hi. We live in the same house. Like, like, okay,
I'm
move out of my way. I'm doing laundry. Like, like, why do we have to, like, you don't even need to like lock eyes with me. Like, I know you're there. We know you're there. We all know we're here. Like, move on with your day. Like, it's so funny how we've just like, as a society, been like built and taught that like this is how you interact with each other, and this is the like small talk is totally appropriate, and these are like the standards. Like, what the hell?
I can't do it. I cannot stand it. I feel like we have this idea that you have to fill space with sound all the time. And I don't agree with that in any way. I'm perfectly happy being quiet in a room with people. I'm so stoked to sit with a friend in silence. Like, I think that it is something to be valued, to be able to be comfortable with someone without having to just chatter to make noise, is, to me, I think it's a virtue. I think it's great to be able to just let the sound of the world play around you, you know? So I am right there with you.
It's, you know, I went to one of those retreats. I was invited to a mental health retreat not far from my house. They're doing like this big opening, and I'm so flattered, went and did the thing, and everyone else seemed to know what the hell was going on. I had never been to one, and I had no idea what was happening. Anyways, we went through this like yoga and sound bowls and all these things, and there was like this therapy that went along with sound bowls, which is just to listen. And this one lady was like, I can hear freaking tractors in the background. Is that supposed to be happening? And she's like, I can hear, you know, and she's like naming all these things that are like happening in the background. And I'm like, that's so funny that you find those things distracting. I was so stoked that I can hear them. There's nothing happening around me that I can actually hear like that far away. Like, it was like a privilege to me to be able to like, experience that. Like,
to me, that would be fantastic. That's
right?
like beautiful. I can hear things in the distance. Like, what's the problem?
What's going on?
I don't understand.
Totally. Oh, that's so funny. It's sad though that we've been pushed to think this way for so long. I feel like it's the not to say it's your responsibility, individuals, but I think as artists, you guys hold the key in a lot of this stuff to teach us like what it is that we need to be focusing on, and how we can use music as a therapy. Because when you guys play that music, or when we buy a ticket to a concert, it's like, for 45 minutes, we are only tapped into like what is happening. And it's interesting, like, it doesn't matter how hard, you know, the week has been or the month has been. When I go to a show, or I go, you know, check somebody out live, or walk past a cafe and someone's playing live, it's just like all of a sudden it does that same thing. Like, it just shuts everything down. We're just like directed to what's happening with the performer. And I think not only do I appreciate the music, but I appreciate the fact that you guys are kind of these instruments in this piece of society that's just like, you know, can be often overlooked for the people who enjoy the small talk, right?
Yeah. And you know, it's so it's funny you say that. It's as like, while we're, you know, performing and like in a way providing a sort of therapy to others as performers, it's the same for us. Like, last year was one of the hardest, like worst years of my life. I had just a lot of like tragedy with family, and like my you know, my cat, who's my baby. I had him for like 18 years, and he passed away, and it was like really traumatic. And excuse me. And I remember I was so sad. I was so sad. And I was at Pachina Bay when my grandmother died. Like, it was a lot of stuff. And we were playing a jazz fest, and I'd like been crying like all day, crying like up to get onto the stage. And then we started the show, and it just was like gone, you know. And at the end of the set, I actually like had to just mention it to, you know, to the audience, and just say like, thank you, because this is the first time in, you know, months that I've actually felt like genuinely good. And I know, you know, I knew, you know, I know it's a fleeting moment, and I'm going to slide back into my sads, but like, doing this made me just feel so much better for, you know, an hour. So thanks for, you know, helping me with that, you know. So it's a two-way situation for sure. It's good for us, and it's hopefully we're giving back to others as well.
Yeah, it's such an interesting industry, because there's not many other industries where the job is as therapeutic for the person doing the job as the person receiving the work, right? It's like, unless people like just totally, you know, totally dig their job, but it's like not very many other careers that offer you the same solace as the people purchasing it. So it's kind of one of those neat things. Yeah. It's cool that you were able to have that experience. And I'm sorry that you went through all of that stuff, man. Like, life. Yeah, it always seems
life will get you
once. Yeah, it'll fuck you up. Pardon my language. Like, yeah.
And that, but you know, that's part of what. yeah, I'm minding my own fucking business.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
but that's why I'm so adamant about, like, if I'm going to exist in the world, it's going to be as a source of joy.
Yeah.
Because life will get you. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it. There will be tragedy. It's the thing about being alive. Like, it is going to be there for us at one point or another. So I'm just going to let that shit do its thing and not be a part of misery for anybody, to the best of my ability. I'm going to try and do the opposite.
So then how do you exercise that in your day? Like what things, because I mean, you have to be consciously aware of being that. Like, how do you stay the course with joy like that, like so readily?
I try really hard to pay a lot of attention to my friends, the people that just people that I see. Like, I feel like if I see someone and they look like they're suffering, they're going through something, I'm going to do everything that I can to relate to them, to listen to them, to, like, if I can help, then I'm going to help. And if I can't do anything actively and you just need to, like, talk, I'm going to listen. If I can give you gentle or, like, real advice, like, one thing that my friends say about me is that, like, I'm, like, firm but gentle. Like, I'm the one who's going to be like, girl, you can't be fucking serious with this shit right now, like, but, like, I'm gonna tell them this because I love them, and I just, if, like, I really like to make my friends laugh, I really like to, I feed people a lot. Whenever my friends are going through something, I'm the one who's like, all right, I made you, like, a whole bunch of ribs and mac and cheese, and like I'm a big feeder. So yeah, just stuff like that. I like giving, like, I have a huge garden and I'm, like, always, like, making, fucking tomato chutney and fig chutney and sauces and soups and giving them away to people. And yeah, just
food is such a cool love language. I am also a feeder. Like, in all holidays and birthdays and stuff like that, like, it's like the spot, right? And I'm like, I mean, you don't have to bring food. You can bring food. It doesn't really matter. There's always enough food. Like, the neighborhood kids all know, like, that there's always food. They don't even ask anymore. They just, like, roll up around 6 o'clock. Like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, totally. And, like, yeah, I take a lot of pride in that. But that's what's important. And, like, that's the stuff where I don't want to say that we're lost, but thank goodness for you for keeping that as a standard, because it's like those are the things that I think that we need to keep alive for the younger generation, that we still do nurture each other, and it's not cheesy and it's not tacky and it's not cringe to love on each other like that. Like, unapologetically just, like, be there for each other and see each other and listen. I mean, I hear all the time. Very rarely do I listen. I am practicing it because it's, like, something I know that I need to work on, because it's like, it's tough to do that sometimes. We've been taught we've been taught to respond, right? Like,
and sometimes people don't need that. They just need you to hear them and listen and just, like, take it in and let them share.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not everybody needs advice. That should be my mantra, actually. Not everybody needs advice. They don't want to hear what I have to say. It's not that big of a deal. They just need, like, to be heard and
to get it out.
Totally. Yeah, that's really cool. So once you've made this shift, so we've gone through piano lessons, we've been discovered at karaoke, we've, tempered the stages and started getting really into it. Like, what are some of the things that you prioritize when it comes to setting yourself up for success on going on stage?
That's a good question. I don't even know how to answer that, because it's like, for me, I feel like I'm so invested in not letting my band down that's kind of what I focus on the most. I'm just like, I need to make sure that I'm coming with the energy, that I know what I'm getting up there to do, that like, vocally I'm in a good place, so if I have a show coming up, I'm not going out the night before. I'm going to be really conscientious of, like, what I'm doing with my vocal cords. Because I'm the best at cackling like a witch all night and losing my voice completely. Like, I'm the queen of destroying my voice. And so I just, like, I I never want to let them down, because they put so much into this as well. So yeah, my main focus is just to like be their bitch, you know, like be their their bad bitch, and represent for them. Like I want my boys to look good because they're good boys and they work hard and they're super talented. So
yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I was waiting for like some weird ritual that like, you know, how some people got like the oh, I only, you know, I only want like the red Smarties and like the really crazy riders that are like, oh,
nah, I'm chill. I like to get a little buzz before I get on stage. Otherwise, I'm too tight. And I have this thing. It's called I used to have it. I had this thing called a vocal mist. Essentially, it's like a nebulizer, and you put saline solution in it. And so I'll use that because the saline solution like loosens your vocal cords and makes singing, and it's really great for if you're like a public speaker or something like that. Like it really, really helps your vocal cords a lot. So I'll hit that for like a long time over the course of the day and have some drinks, and that's about it. That's me.
See, I want to talk about that a little bit actually, because so many people are like, oh, like, you know, so funny. People are like, I say people, you know, and I don't really mean that so much, but I'm just, you know, whatever. People have such strong opinions about like drinking before a show. Some people are like, I absolutely wouldn't do that. Like it takes away from whatever. And then some people are like, you know, I have to smoke a cigarette because it calms me down. And that brings me to exactly where I need to be. And that puts me into this like really cool mindset where I can focus on what the conversation needs to be, or I'm settled enough to then like give the best product. And I think it's overlooked, especially, you know, in places like recovery talk where they're like, well, you know, and shout out to everybody who's getting sober dates out there. But I mean, like people overlook these things, these tools that can be used in positive ways to produce a product. I don't know how to say this because I don't want to be like, oh, do you ever deal with the criticism? But I just think it's important to acknowledge that not everybody not everybody deals with alcoholism or addiction or whatever. Some people just utilize these things in a way that puts them into a different place or solace, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, so when like, you know, I wouldn't get drunk on, you know, to be on stage, but I definitely need to relax. Otherwise, especially because as like a front speaking person, I'm a bit funnier and more obnoxious in a good way when I'm have a buzz, you know, when I'm less self-conscious. And so yeah, just a couple drinks that I do perform better. Because the nerves really do get to me. I find that like when I perform, like a little bit of pressure is always a good thing, but it can definitely be too much where it will completely affect the way that I can connect and essentially, you know, to the audience, because I just suddenly feel really judged rather than like I'm doing this for them and with them, you know? So yeah, for me, I use it as a tool to just like get a little loose, and then but I going up drunk wouldn't be a good
no
at all. Like this. And I've you know seen it happen a few times with other bands that I've performed with, and it's not a good look. So yeah.
No, I just wanted to take advantage of the moment a little bit because earlier, like I was in class and we were talking about how some parents, it's totally off topic, but some parents like, you know, they can't afford, you know, this, that, and whatever, but they'll buy a pack of smokes. And I'm like, yeah, okay. If that couple of cigarettes gets them through their day and that allows them to parent properly, and that's all it was a couple of smokes, like who cares, right?
Exactly.
And so, I didn't mean to put you on the spot at all, but I just think it's really interesting. And yeah, it's, if you're overcome by like the, you know, the little bit of anxiety that goes along with performing, and having a quick cocktail and a little shake off before you hit the stage, like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it works. It works for me anyway.
Yeah, totally. Sorry, we're being interrupted by my beautiful son who's like sliding into view. Did you want to say hi really quickly? No. Okay.
No.
That's okay.
Hey.
Hi. Okay. Love you too.
I think we're moving.
Okay. All right. Love you.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, don't ever be sorry for interrupting. Ever. The youth has been playing basketball lately, so we've been super busy all over the place. He had practice last night. They crushed their first game of the season over the weekend. Yeah. And so much like everybody else, the Calco says hi, Ryan. We are, I guess, I don't know if celebrating is the right word, but Truth and Reconciliation Day is today. So the kids are all at home, and we've been having conversations about what that looks like from, for him and what he can do that is, to support his friends and keep the conversation going and all that stuff. So yeah, he was home from school today, hanging out,
chilling.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. What does it look like in Vancouver right now? Like, is there lots happening for Truth and Reconciliation?
I'm in Victoria, actually.
Oh, sorry, Victoria. That's what I meant.
Yeah. I am actually not sure. I think that there's probably something happening at the legislature right now. But I'm actually not 100% sure. I had a friend over last night. I made her grilled cheese and tomato soup, another feeding event. Yeah. And we were up late catching up. So I woke up late and haven't actually looked into what's going on outside of my home yet. But there's got to be something going on. Totally. I'm just a few blocks away from the legislature, so I'm sure there's a ceremony going on for sure.
So when it comes to music, what are some topics that you think are important that are put into music? Like, is there anything that you're like, yeah, you know what, we have this platform, we should use it to...
So I am not a good writer. I find myself to be a terrible writer. And so I say this, my band would get mad at me. I hate what I write.
Wow. Okay.
Other people say that I write well, but I can't stand the things that I write. I tend to write about like love and it going badly.
Okay. Yeah.
And it feels cliche. But what my bandmate Jesus, he writes about like the world and like society and about the struggles living, like urban struggles, and like he writes about cool like real shit. And I really, really, really love the messaging that comes from it because it is really relatable. And especially like living in, Victoria and BC, where you can, see there's a lot of struggle, a lot of mental health and like housing issues. He really can like take that and connect it and like just write a really dope track about it. And it's that I really, really appreciate that about him. So I feel like my shit is just like cliche, whatever. His has like depth and intelligence, and it's really cool. So
that is really cool. Okay, well, shout out to you though, because you know what, we need music that is about like not only like the simple things in life or like the things that we actually experience, because not everybody deals with poverty and not everybody deals with drug addiction, not everybody deals with wars and things like that. But sometimes we also just need music that is just about like feeling good without having this like super over the top like burden, like, okay, now I've listened to it, now I've heard it, now I got to do something about it, right? Like what is happening as a shit, and so I think it's important to just have music that like is maybe just like on the surface too. I think that's almost it is as important as some of the heavy topics. So
you like you need a break every now and then. You need something just to like bring joy, right?
Totally. Very cool. Is there anything that you like haven't accomplished yet in the music scene that you are like, yeah, I need to do this before I die, like a bucket list thing, like an amount of people or a certain stage or something?
Yeah, I mean, so I would love to play like a main stage somewhere. We played at like Capitol Ballroom. We played the main stage at Pachina Bay Festival. But I would love to play like like Rifflandia, although Rifflandia doesn't seem to be booking local artists much anymore, unfortunately. But or like a festival in Vancouver would be amazing. I really want to get to like a larger festival and play like a big bat stage.
Yeah.
That's something that I really want to experience once. We played for like some pretty like good audiences, pretty cool sizes, but it's been a bit of a struggle to get like onto the mainland.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of like what we really want to try to achieve. And look, we're not in this for money. We all have careers. We all like, we're not making money from this band, but just for the experience itself, it would be really, really cool.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's making money from their band. Like,
nope.
It's tough slugging out there, like, you know. And I think we've talked about it a lot on the show. It's like some people are able to market themselves in such a way, and they're able to get their merch going, and like, you know, they sell it as a product, which you have to absolutely do. And we are a little bit more responsible for ourselves than we were maybe back in the 90s, when all those crazy contracts are out and people were just basically like slaves to the big record companies or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely challenging because we're like capped by, I don't want to say our own ability, but we're capped by how people want to deal with us, right? Like we're capped by like there's just so much stuff happening that, and for like absolutely pennies on the dollar, which is amazing as a society. Again, it's amazing that we have access to all this stuff, but it makes it 10 times harder to kind of achieve some of these other things because everything is so diluted, right? It's like, how do you get yourselves kind of at the forefront or solicit yourself in a way that isn't like selling out, still, you know, maintaining the integrity of your music, and, you know, and your and your values and things like that. But then also, it's tough
because it costs money to be in a band. Like it is, we have to we pay rent for, you know, the place where we practice. We have to pay for ourselves to get from like where we are to our gigs. We have to pay for our equipment. Like it all costs money. And it's really difficult to try to just like do enough shows. I mean, it costs money to get merch to sell, you know, like all of it costs money. And so even when we're booking, we're planning our own shows. It's like, okay, so what is the most and the least that we can charge at the door so that we can afford to pay ourselves enough to pay rent, so that we can, you know, afford to pay, you know, if we have an opening act or a DJ, and then the venue always takes some off the top as well, you know, and because we don't want to be asking people to pay $40 to get in to see us. But we also can't charge $10 because we're just going to be paying out of pocket. So it's tricky, you know.
And you run the risk
really difficult.
of like you run the risk of people thinking that you're not that great, you know. $10. Like there's like right, like it's like, how do you say like we're worth the money, but you know, also like we understand that you have a grocery bill, like it's a balancing act. It's tricky. Luckily Jesus takes care of most of that. Again, like he's good at like so many things, and I'm so grateful for him. He has a lot of great experience and just knowledge, where I just kind of like watch and learn and try to soak it all in, because he's skilled at so many things, and we're so lucky. He's our guy for sure. Totally. He came in and hung out, and I was just like, holy shit, this dude's pretty deadly. Like he's dope. Pretty cool. Very cool. So okay, so hold on, is this right? Like you went from this is only your second band? Like Blasé
This
Blasé
is my third band, technically. When I was first moved to Victoria, I was in a band called Warbuck, and we were together for, I don't know, a couple of years maybe. And then I joined this band called the Leg Up Program. That was the band that had like 17 to 21 people. And that was with a roommate of mine, and we kind of came together first to just play one show that his other band had been booked to play, but they broke up. And so a bunch of us came together just to play that one show and cover those songs. And then we were like, oh, that was fun. Should we just keep doing this? And so I was in that band. We were together for about 6 years, maybe. I don't know. Time is weird. I want to say 6, could have been 10. Who knows? But
could have been
many,
16.
it's like, I have no idea.
Could have been yesterday.
Several years. And then it's 2019. Jesus was like, hey, Danny, I'm jamming with some guys. Like, do you want to come by and we're just trying some tracks? And I was like, okay, cool. And so we were just like hanging out at this guy's basement and playing some tracks and decided we would like try and do the thing for real. And our first show was February of 2020.
Wow.
I for sure had COVID.
Wow.
I had never been sicker in my life. And we went to Lucky Bar, played the show. I went home and got back into bed and was sick for another several days. And then the pandemic just slid right in and kind of put a bit of a halt on things. But then we were able to practice together because we kind of became our own little bubble eventually. So once things kind of stopped being so, intensely, quarantine-y, we got back to jamming together and just working on stuff. And then we added a couple people to the band. We added Isaac, our sax player, and Gavin, our drummer, joined us as well. And we just kind of kept going from there. And we played our first show. It was like the first show that anybody had like really been to after, like right after they lifted all of the like really intense restrictions. So it was really, really fun because it was like everybody was just like fuck wild, like so excited to be out of the house again. And just
gave me goosebumps.
It was so awesome. It was so much fun. And it felt really, really good. And so it was like really interesting to kind of like play the last show before the pandemic and then to come back in for the first show once it had kind of ended. And it was great to have them because like while everything was falling apart and there's a lot of loneliness and just like dark times, I did have my boys that I could turn to. We could all like support each other, and it was a really great outlet to have to be able to do that with them.
That's amazing. Yeah, the world stopped turning. COVID is such a weird time. Such a weird time because we were actually we were made to believe that during that time was a mental health crisis. Hold on, I'm so sorry. Like I said, I wouldn't pay attention to the comment section, although I do love you guys. Miguel, congratulations on your grandbaby. It just caught me on the corner. Everyone that's in the comments, thank you so much for taking care of each other, looking over each other and supporting each other over there. And if you guys need us, you can reach us at 250-289-3948. That's the warm line for Pinecase podcast. But thank you, everybody. I can see you guys. Thanks for tuning in and congratulations on the brand new baby.
Yay,
baby. The interesting thing about that is, and I just learned some wild statistics about that, about the pandemic, which was we were taught that, or we were made to believe that the suicide rate went through the roof and abuse went through the roof, and all these people got all this money that they weren't used to having, and or lost their business, depending on what it looked like for everybody, and addiction went through the roof, and all of these things that were just absolutely horrendous happened. And I found out the other day that statistically in Canada, that's actually not true.
Oh.
Mental health episodes went down by like half.
Really?
Yes, because although we weren't a community, we weren't allowed to actually like interact with each other. People interacted with each other online like 75% more. And so we never felt alone. We had access to each other way more than we normally do when people are in the rat race of going to school and going to work and all of this stuff. And it actually pushed families together. And so the numbers plummeted. And and art and culture actually spiked. So all of a sudden there was all these new projects coming up and people finally had the time and the finances to do the things that they haven't been able to prioritize. maybe their entire life they've been just trying to get to this time where they had a few months. And not that I'm glorifying what happened, but it's interesting because once I heard that, it made me feel better about the things that I did during COVID and the projects that I did during COVID, that I was made to feel that the whole world was suffering. And yes, a lot of people were, that it would be fair not to acknowledge that. It wouldn't be fair, but in a bigger way, maybe, and I'm going to catch flack for that, but it's like, we actually were able to sit with our children more often. We were able to sit. And obviously I know people are going to be in the comments being like, yeah, but our seniors. Yeah. Well, guess what? You didn't go to visit them anyways. Let's be honest here, like, come on. And yeah, and the arts and culture went up and all these projects came out. And although it did saturate the market quite a bit, it was really cool at the end of it to see what everyone had been doing. I'm like, wait a second, you do that thing? What? I didn't know that. And so, yeah, I'm always fascinated to hear like how it affected people, especially the artists, because some of you guys, built some really beautiful projects that people struggle to acknurage, or they're like, oh, we did it during COVID. It's like, dude, yeah, you did. And it was awesome. So thank you for making music for us, during that time. So, yeah.
I think there's something to be said to, when you mentioned the way that people were able to connect like online during COVID, that something about it, because it was, everybody was going through the same thing at the same time, which is as much as it was like horrific, it is really unifying in that way. And I never thought about that before, the way that it really did connect me to people in a new way that I didn't expect, and that now I look back and like value. Like there are some friendships that like really came out of like COVID being the bitch that it was, that like people that I really connected with because of what we were collectively going through.
Absolutely.
And so while it was in a way like isolating in that, we had to quarantine and blah, 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 and bubbles, blah, blah, it really did like have its own unifying strength behind it, because we all did that together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did. Yeah. It's interesting when you look at it like that, actually. Like, yeah, we really survived that together and had to change up our lives together, and weren't allowed an elevator at the same time, and all the limits and restrictions that came with that, I found interesting to kind of navigate too, because I had to really dig deep about who I was going to be during that time, right? Like, am I going to be one of these really miserable people that are like, stand up, like,
hoarding toilet paper and like,
yeah, like, who am I going to be during this time? Or am I going to be like it's cool, you go ahead of me and I'll take my time. And it's interesting, like, I was an adult when that happened, so I got to choose who I was going to be. And to know that you guys kind of went in and then came back out and got to celebrate that moment with people must have been a really powerful thing, knowing like everyone just gets to breathe together. And
it really felt like it was triumphant in a way. We were like celebrating, like, we did it. We did it. We're here now. It's fucking party. Let's fucking go. And we did party.
Yeah,
it was
awesome.
a good time. It was a really good night.
Yeah, that's totally awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, it's funny. I always feel bad when people are like, yeah, I did this amazing thing in 2020. And I'm like, you're allowed to say during COVID. Like, you're totally allowed to say, yeah, like it was, it was terrible and all these things, but it was also like this thing that's never going to happen again. The government is never going to do. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. But it's this, this thing that's we're never going to have the opportunity to have that again. And which was like this kind of leveling thing that happened, because now everybody is kind of getting the same amount. Like, obviously some people were already like, cooking with Crisco, but it kind of leveled us all to the same thing. Like, it didn't really matter who you were, what you were doing before that. Like, much like you said, like, we're all in this together. We all were, our bank accounts kind of look the same. We were all struggling with the same thing. We're all prospering with the same thing, whatever. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't know. It's weird. It's not weird, actually. And I don't know. It's like, I even hesitate to talk about it in a positive way, but I think that it's important to acknowledge that not everything that looks necessarily bad is like the beast that it is. I'm
Yeah.
rambling just because it's like it's tough, but yeah, I appreciate you talking about it with me.
No, I mean, you're right. Like, and it's important to try to find any bit of silver lining whenever, like, because it's like, again, find the joy where you can fucking,
Yeah.
like, seek it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, things are terrible, and that shit was terrible. And I gained like 60 pounds of like sad girl weight then, it was not a good time, but like, I met a lot of cool people, did some cool things.
Yeah.
I got like, I had time to, I went to, for Halloween, my friends did this, kind of like they streamed it on YouTube, and it was like live performances in their loft in Chinatown. And so I got to do a costume, and I had time to like really think about it. And so I went as the fly that landed on Mike Pence's head. And it was like, it was so funny and so much fun. And so rolled in there and got to do, some singing as this like stupid ass fly. And, that's something that I wouldn't have had the time to think about it and laugh about that and like create this like dope costume.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like there's cool things that can come out of like darkness. You just gotta try to find that light in there,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's an art form though, that is a flippin' art form, because there are some people, and I'm learning a bit more about personalities, but there are some people that genuinely want to live in the funk. Like they just want to live in that funk of like, oh, the bus driver pissed me off today. And oh, the lady at the pharmacy pissed me off today. Oh, I went to, it's like, holy moly, like that is wild. And to be, and like you said at the beginning, like you're proactive about bringing the joy, and it's important to like exercise that part of your personality and like push that to the forefront and find those silver linings and all that stuff. Because the people that aren't like that need us to be like that all the time, right? Like they need that over the fence and like yelling. I always joke about how I'm like just over the fence all the time. Like dinner's at 6, grab your bathing suit, the pool's ready to go, the hot tub's on. Like, I don't care. I don't care if we don't know each other. We're going to know each other. Like, I want to know who everybody is,
Yeah. Yeah. I love making friends. And I feel like, it's like important to do that, to meet and like create a community that is as big as you can. And, with people that are inherently miserable or who choose to live in that, I feel so sorry for them, because they're shrinking their world and like pushing the potential for happiness out. And it's like I'm not always happy. I suffer from depression and anxiety. Like I have had some very, very, very dark times. I have struggled a lot in my times. Last year was, like I said, it was a really bad year. But I'm the type of person where like, if I'm in a really dark place, I'm not going to share it with people. I'm not going to spread it. I like go into myself. I like will hang out. I just hide in my room. I really don't want to spread my misery and my darkness. And I mean, in a way, it's not always the best, like, because I'm one of those people who like, I don't want to bother anybody, when like I should talk to people more about it. But, because I also yell at my friends when they do the same shit. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm here for you. This is the whole point of me existing, is to help you. But that I don't, do the same. But I wish that some people like that I could just like shake them out of the inherent, like it seems like it's a forced funk in some cases. Like so much energy goes into being always unhappy,
How exhausting that must be. And like, no wonder why it continues, because then you're just like constantly fucking tired. Like how exhausting that would be to just find things to pick at. I always say like you're picking up perfection. Like
like
okay.
But gosh, like I think about some exes and stuff, like just in like constant negativity and seeing bad things where they don't exist and where they shouldn't be in the most bizarre way. And then when someone is that unhappy, it's contagious. And I don't know, I feel for them, but I'm also in a point in my life, I'm 40 years old now, and I'm just like, I can't do it with you anymore. I can't do this. And if I can't get you to a point where you can at least want to be happy, at least try, then I can't put myself back into that place, because again, life is going to do it to me at some point. I'm going to slide back into some depression at some point for some reason, and I'll just let life do that to me. I don't need you to do it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Say that again. Say that again. Like, I don't need you to bring me there. Like, I'll get there on my own. And when I do, yeah, totally. Yeah. We don't need to take on all of that stuff.
No.
No. And you know what? Boundaries is like probably one of the most fundamental pieces of protecting your mental health, right? It's like, I grew up understanding that boundaries were something that I set to, that were just like a thick wall for sure. Like, this is my boundary. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this. And the older I get, the more I realize, like, it's actually to make a good environment for myself and the person on the other side of that boundary. And it actually is
exactly,
less about me and more about them. And it's like, I'm going to teach you how to treat me,
exactly,
how to be, because somebody hasn't, and I don't need to bring that into my everyday all the time, right? Like, we need to treat people how to treat us. We need to teach people how to treat us. Like, yeah,
completely. And the thing is, like, it's kind of a choice, right? It's like, well, I can teach you how to treat me, and if you choose not to do that, then I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And if you want me to be in your life, then you have to treat me a certain way, and I want to be in your life. So it's a win-win. And if like, I'll teach you, you accept it, we can do this thing, friendship, love, whatever. Otherwise you're going to lose me, and that feels like a lose-lose for us. So, boundaries are really important to me for that reason. Exactly. And I've had a lot of like abusive friendships where, I had to get to a point where I was like, this is just not going to work. And I'm walking away, because it's not good for either one of us.
And maybe that boundary that you set with that person that was like, this is a hard no for me, taught that person how to treat other people. Like, oh shit, okay, you know what, that didn't work.
That's the thing. I find I have a lot of friends who keep shitty people around them. They're like, oh, well, I've known this person for so long, and I'm like, but that doesn't mean that you need to be friends with them. Like, just because you've known someone for a while doesn't mean that they're worthy of your space and your time. And because no one is like, you're not doing good things and I can't share this with you, they don't learn anything. And ultimately, I think that's like a negative to them, because like, while they're close to you and you're putting up with it, other people in the world don't know them like that and do not give a shit. And so they're burning their bridges and blowing their shit up outside of their relationship with you, because you don't have the balls to fucking tell them to smarten the fuck up and knock the shit off. Like, who are you helping by doing this?
Nobody.
So,
I feel the strongest when people do this with their kids, and I'm like, oh, okay, you are not helping them. Like, they're going to go out into the dating world, they're going to go out into the employment world, they're going to go out into this world, and like, you have not followed through with any of the threats that you have made, whether they are small or big, and now they have no idea what to even look out for, and it's going to kick them right in the teeth. And then they're going to be stuck in your basement forevermore, because they're going to think that the whole world did them wrong when it was you that did them dirty in the first place.
Exactly. I'm Jamaican as well. And like, growing up, I was like, these Jamaicans are so evil. And I'm like, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because goddamn, it felt harsh at the time, but now I'm like, thank you, Lord. Thank you to my grandma. Thank you to my mom. Like, just
absolutely,
kept me in my fucking place, and it has paid off. So
yeah, that's so
mad appreciative.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, shout out to Jamaica, the cultural hub that it is. Wonderful. Well, Dani, it has been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you and just chatting with you and hearing what you have to say. Like I said before we started this, we take it as a donation to the Pinecase Mental Health and Music Fund. So thank you for donating your time and experiences with us. The door is wide open, by the way. Like, the door is wide open. You're more than welcome to come and hang out with us whenever you want to. I'm sure
I would
everybody.
Love to. This has been so much fun. This has been great.
Yeah, no, the feeling is absolutely mutual. I was like, what a great way to jump back into the fall season. Like, this is awesome. Like, yeah, shout out to Calico for organizing all of this. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Calico, for coming and like just she came up to me at Ska-Fest and introduced herself, and I was like, podcast? Yeah, mental health, music, let's fucking do it. So thank you for asking me to do this. This has been great, so much fun, and this is such a cool message, and just like what's the word that I'm looking for? The concept behind it is like so important and so cool. You know, there's a lot of mental health and there's a lot of music, but bringing them together is something that I haven't seen. So this is really dope.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we appreciate it. Shout out to everybody that came and hung out with us in the comment section today. Like I said earlier, we see you. We appreciate you. Thank you for supporting each other. It does not go unnoticed. And when we talk about community, it doesn't necessarily have to be the community near you. It can also be the online community. So if you guys haven't already, go and jump in the Pinecase mental health and music group. There's lots of cool things that are happening in there. People sharing stuff that maybe you wouldn't normally come across. There's lots of positivity in there. Mr. Positivity's in there all the time, actually. Posting some pretty cool stuff. So please don't hesitate on that. Like I said earlier, our warm line is open 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's run by our beautiful volunteers. It's 250-289-3948. Please don't hesitate to call. You guys can text. We'll put your resources from your city in the chat. And so that way, when you leave the conversation, you will know exactly what to do, where to go, and how to get there. And if not, you can always call us back. So one more time, Dani Jackson, thank you, darling, so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. We adore you. And for everybody else, we will we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. Bye.
We stay strong. We stay
The
strong.
further you take my rights away, I'ma run to it, refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch the color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high, but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that decided to never show. Deny my place, I'm back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face, get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the ancestors, running through my veins.
With the strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, we stay strong. We stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong.
I can see, run to the light at the end of the tunnel winner.
We stay strong.
I can't breathe, we're gonna get oxygen without the justice system.
We stay strong.
And I know, gotta keep my head together.
We stay strong.
Don't doubt me, please don't doubt me.
We stay strong.
Tell me how can we be strong if we still shooting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still looting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still hating? Please tell me now, please.